Are you getting my voice, all of you guys?
Yes, sir.
Hello, this is RN Reddy.
Yes,
All of you getting my voice? Right. Okay, fine.
yes, sir.
Are you able to see my screen? That is Introduction to ASP.NET MVC. I am selecting in Notepad. Are you able to see? Right. Uh, it was the second session as part of ASP.NET MVC training. My name is RN Reddy. I have around 15 years of experience. Around 10 years I was into teaching. Let me know any newcomers. This is the second session. And who didn't attend yesterday class? Sir, today is my first session. Could you introduce yourself and I can understand better like what type of people are attending the class. I hope majority of the people are attended yesterday already and this is the second session for you. Let me know the new guys. Hello. Yeah. Any new people are there who didn't attend yesterday class? Just say hi.
Hello.
That is enough. Want to know?
Hi. Hi, sir.
Yeah.
This
Who
is
is
Krishna, sir. Reddy.
your good name?
Reddy, yes.
Reddy, didn't you attend yesterday class?
No, sir. Due to my net issues,
You attended
I
yesterday
don't.
or not?
No, sir. This is the first class
Actually,
of
you
me.
are my old .NET student, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You are the first enrolled student for this course. I remembered you. Okay, don't miss the
Ah,
classes. Be regular. Okay, right. Next,
yeah.
anybody else? Praveen, is it your first session? Praveen, any new guys? Okay, fine. Anybody else are attending today is the first session? Right. Okay. So it is the second session. Yesterday we had a small introduction about MVC, and there I covered what was the syllabus I'm going to cover in this training. It is 40 hours training. We're planning for around 30 days, but it may extend extra 10 days. Introduction to ASP.NET MVC is the first topic. Now we are working on the topic. Second topic is working with controls in ASP.NET MVC with front-end operations. Like in this second topic, we'll discuss about the how to have a ASP.NET MVC front-end application which is not interacting with database. And the third topic is accessing database by using ADO.NET in ASP.NET MVC. And the fourth topic is accessing the database by using link in ASP.NET MVC. There will give more and more clarity about link concept because link is new for the guys. Generally, at the time of ASP.NET, you might learn ADO.NET, but you didn't learn a link. That's why here link introduction will be there. And we will use link to console application, link in console application by using link in ASP.NET, then link in ASP.NET MVC. Next, after that, we'll work with accessing database, right, database by using entity framework in ASP.NET MVC. First, we'll have a introduction about entity framework. Next, after that, we'll go with the entity framework to ASP.NET. Next, entity framework to ASP.NET MVC. Means what, here we will use ASP.NET application to communicate the database by using entity framework. Then after that, we will use entity framework. Using entity framework, we will communicate the ASP.NET MVC application to the database. After that, we'll discuss advanced concepts in ASP.NET MVC like filters, routings, and so on. Next, master pages in ASP.NET MVC. Okay, so and some more topics, and we'll have a project also. Here are 250 interview questions with answers, one book, one project we'll discuss, and resume building, and how to attend interviews in India and US as a fresher as a experience. And you will get two books planning. One is step-by-step ASP.NET MVC book, which is my book. Actually, whatever book I will give to the students in my classroom training in Hyderabad, same book I'm sharing to you. It was prepared, and till the time I conducted 3 ASP.NET MVC batches. Okay, this is going to be the 4th batch. Since 1 year I am teaching ASP.NET MVC. Okay, now coming to yesterday class, we had a small introduction about what is MVC, and MVC stands for let me have a brief idea about what is MVC and what is MVC design pattern. Simply I'll tell you, MVC stands for model view controller, and it is a design pattern. And what is the role of model? What is the role of controller? What is the role of view? Model responsibility is, anybody can explain what is the role of model?
Model is responsible for data related logic, sir.
Excellent. Model is responsible for data related logic. And after that, how to, all right, next we discussed about what is the role of controller.
Controller, it is the process of request and response, sir.
Yeah, actually in when you are implementing, what is the MVC design pattern means? Implementing application development. What is MVC means? Model
MVC.
View Controller. It is a design pattern. What is MVC design pattern means? Application development process in MVC design pattern will be splitting into 3 parts. One is model, one is controller, another one is view. Similarly, a role of the model is representing the data access logic, and the role of the controller is will contain the execution logic. Execution logic means request and response is processing by the controller. And what is the role of view here, guys?
View will represent the UI logic, sir.
UI logic. Simple thing here. Same ASP.NET application only, but it will be splitting into 3 parts. They are divided into 3 units. So your UI logic will be in view part, and your ADO.NET like data access logic will be in the model part, and in between they kept a mediator called controller. He will take care about request and response. After that, we discussed yesterday what is that, diagram of MVC, understanding MVC diagram we discussed, right? So next, that we explained also. Let me show you. Already it was explained very clearly yesterday. So first 4-5 days classes, it will go slow and bit repetitions will be there due to the new joinees. Okay, so this material is going to share to you guys, and yeah, let me show you the yesterday diagram. This is your MVC diagram. Here what is happening? Request is receiving by the controller. Controller, based on the request, the controller will communicate either view or model. Here confusion will be there. Anybody can explain when controller will forward the request to view. When controller will forward the request to view.
Then there is no interaction with the database.
When controller will forward the request to view. Whenever request will come on. Whenever that request required UI part, whenever the request is required just UI, want to see some UI output, okay, then it will forward to view. When the request controller will process the forward the request to model, means whenever the request required to communicate database, whenever the request is required to communicate database, it will communicate the model. This is the most important explanation. Let me explain again. For example, guys, all of you, you are typing here www, request is giving by the user to the browser. Are you getting my voice? www.gmail.com is a request. The request is received by a person called controller. That request is required any database communication. Annapurna, any database communication. Did you understand my concern? Question.
Yes, sir.
www.gmail.com is the request from the user. Then the request received by the controller. Now my concern is, in this request, is it required to communicate any database?
No, sir.
No, because only you required login page. Due to that
Yes,
reason,
sir.
controller will not communicate the model. Rather than that, controller will communicate the view, because you just required a web page. Then the view will process that request. It will generate the requested login page, and that generated Gmail login page will supply to the controller. Controller will give to the browser. Browser will display. That is called response. Here you can understand that in this request, the request didn't communicate the model, because the request is not required any database. After that, you got login page. You entered username, you entered password, and you click login button. Again, a request is received by the controller. My concern is this request is going to view our model?
Models.
Model. It is a general discussion. It is not a .NET, or it is not something else. Generally, every day you are using Gmail. You entered user ID, you entered password.
It will communicate the database, sir, model.
For example, there are no validations. Only required to verify the user ID and password. Then it will communicate the model. Model will verify the user ID and password, and that then it will say whether valid user or invalid user. If it is a valid user or invalid user, once controller received that whether valid or invalid, it will give to the view. View will display the required page. For example, it is a valid user, view will generate the next page. If it is invalid user, view will generate the same page with error message. So this is going to be your execution process in MVC. But the same MVC we are using in .NET, in ASP.NET, due to that reason, that is called ASP.NET MVC. Okay, Java people will use MVC in Spring, that is called Spring Java, Strut Java, and so on. Now come back to yesterday, our discussion. Up to here we discussed yesterday. Yesterday we had a small introduction to not ASP.NET MVC. It was introduction to MVC. It was just introduction to MVC. And that means it is not included ASP.NET MVC in our yesterday class. Yesterday we discussed just MVC. Today we are entering into ASP.NET MVC, because we are all .NET developers. .NET developers are using this MVC design pattern while developing web application, that is called ASP.NET MVC. Till the time we are using ASP.NET Web Forms. ASP.NET Web Forms was introduced in .NET 1.0. That is a .NET old web technology. Using this, you can develop a normal web application. Later stages in .NET platform, ASP.NET is following the MVC pattern. MVC, that is called ASP.NET MVC. Now present market trending .NET web technologies ASP.NET MVC. Present trending .NET data access technology entity framework. Old one is ADO.NET. And present trending .NET web service technologies web API. Present market .NET developer has to update three areas. One is ASP.NET MVC, another one is entity framework, and third one is web API. C#.NET is a common language. So might be if you are already .NET developer, you are strong in C#.NET. But updating things are ASP.NET MVC, entity framework, and web API. Now, as per our today second introduction class, that is ASP.NET MVC. So you have to understand, as per us, we covered till day one session. Just I'm writing here for our clarity. Day one session, we covered introduction to MVC. And now day two session is introduction to ASP.NET MVC. Means now we are entering into our actual subject called ASP.NET MVC. Now, what is ASP.NET MVC? First, we have to understand what is ASP.NET MVC. Anybody can explain? Most of the people who are attending this class, as per my knowledge, already working in .NET or about to work in .NET. Means all are might be trained in .NET. If you are not trained in .NET, you better to take the .NET classes. To understand ASP.NET MVC, you should have minimum knowledge about C#. Good knowledge in C#.NET, minimum to average knowledge in ASP.NET, and good knowledge in ADO.NET. So even though ASP.NET also, if you have average knowledge, you can understand my classes, but better to have that also strong. C#.NET, ASP.NET, and ADO.NET sessions. If you want to attend online, you have to wait for some time. Batches start. If you are not having, because you have to cope up with these sessions, approach our coordinator Sai. He will guide you how to update with the help of video recordings. Okay, you can take the video course. Now, coming to what is ASP.NET MVC. ASP.NET MVC is a framework. ASP.NET MVC is a framework used to develop web application by using MVC pattern, MVC design pattern. Again, I'm telling you, ASP.NET MVC is a framework used to develop web applications by using MVC design pattern. Right. Again, Satya, tell me what is ASP.NET MVC?
It is a framework is used to develop web application by using MVC pattern.
Very good. In MVC based application development, in MVC based application development, in MVC based application development, will be splitting into three modules. Will be splitting into three modules. Means in MVC based applications, in MVC I'm sorry, here the statement is wrong. In MVC, application development will be splitting into three modules. They are: number one, same like yesterday. Number one, model. Number two, view. Number three, controller. Number one, model. Number two, view. Number three, controller. Application development process will be splitting into three modules. Whether it is in ASP.NET MVC, otherwise whether it is in Struts MVC, wherever it is. ASP.NET MVC was designed by Scott Gutherr in the year 2007. In 2007, he was designed MVC. And after that, how the MVC versions are, ASP.NET MVC versions are introduced. So people will have so much confusion about this. It was designed Scott in the year 2007. Okay, but how that is included and released with versions, that is this history. In this history of ASP.NET versions, let me give you the versions. It is just a knowledge sake. We should have the clarity because we are from .NET family. Number one, ASP.NET MVC 1.0. Even though he was designed in 2007, it is released. ASP.NET MVC was released. First version was released in the year 2009. And ASP.NET MVC 2.0 is released in the year 2010. ASP.NET MVC 3.0 is released in the year 2011. ASP.NET MVC 4.0 is released in the year 2012. ASP.NET MVC 5.0 is released in the year 2013. And ASP.NET MVC 5.2 is released in the year 2014. And ASP.NET MVC 6.0 is released in the year 2015. Total, how many versions till that time, guys? how many versions? 7 versions. Okay. Now you people can install .NET software either 2012 to 2015 as your wish. We will start with MVC 4.0. We'll conclude with MVC 6.0, which will cover all the latest 4 versions. That is my plan. So in your system, if it is 2012, don't disturb it. 2013 Visual Studio 2013, don't disturb. 2014, don't disturb. Any 2012 to 2015, you don't have any problem. There are 7 versions. So I have a question to you guys. Sorry. Guys, you tell me when that ASP.NET MVC was designed by Scott, in which year? The year
2007.
7. But from which year onwards we are using? All of you guys, you have to, 1 or 2 people who are able to speak, who are not having disturbance, can respond voice. And remaining people also should not sit idle. You guys has to respond through chat. My suggestion to you all the people is, even though you are attending online classes, you should not have a feel that it is online. You have to use a pen and paper. Do the how I am writing the points in my notepad. Similarly, you people can write the points in your notebook, running notes, as well as you can respond for my questions through chart. Chart also you can use. Right. Come back to our discussion. Right. It was designed in the year 2007, but first started in the year 2009. Okay, so now you guys tell me the 7 versions. Just go through it, all of you. After 1 minute, I'll ask you guys. You have to list out all the versions. I'm sure about that. 4 to 5 days, we will have complete theory classes. Here we'll understand. We had a small introduction and information about ASP.NET MVC to us. Among this 1 week classes, we'll get 100 to 150 interview questions. Most of these are will ask at the time of attending interview. After 1 week, once we start coding, we'll enjoy the ASP.NET MVC coding like anything. After my ASP.NET MVC classes, you guys will say ASP.NET MVC is easier than ASP.NET. I'm challenging regarding this. And once you see my entity framework class, you will say that ADO.NET is difficult. Framework is very easy. I'm sure. Now, you guys, tell me the 7 versions. Anyone can tell the 7 versions? Right,
ASP.NET MVC 1.0 2009, sir.
right, very good. Next,
ASP.NET MVC 2.0 2010.
right.
ASP.NET MVC 3.0 2011.
Remaining people can respond through chat, guys.
A-
Lazy people will not respond. Right,
ASP.NET MVC 4.0 2012.
right, okay,
ASP.NET MVC 5.0 2013.
right,
ASP.NET MVC 5.2 2014.
right,
ASP.NET MVC 6.0 2015, sir.
right.
Totally 7 versions.
7 versions. And one
Yes,
more
sir.
information to you all the people here. If you are a .NET fresher, personally, I'll send you for interview. If you are a .NET freshers in India, or you are a 2+3+ guy who are planning to attend interviews, you can ping me personally to my number in WhatsApp. I'll send you for interviews. Will arrange a placements also in India, because companies will come to me for recruitment. I'll send you. And if you are from abroad, you can approach my coordinators Sai or Srinivas for placement. They will also help you. They will introduce you to consultancies. We are doing online trainings and project supports and proxies. So our team is in touch with couple of consultancies in USA. So they will definitely will help you your placement. Okay. Now come back to our discussion. These are all the versions of ASP.NET MVC. Here we need to have a small important note I was given here. Right. So the note is, right, you observe this note. Yeah. Did you receive the material, guys, who are registered? I hope you got material also from Sai. Did you receive material? Who are registered, who are enrolled for the course, might you received material as per my test. Did you receive? Anybody received material?
No,
Which
sir.
books? Who are enrolled, approach Sai. He will forward the books to you. One book is
Okay.
ASP step by step ASP.NET MVC. Another book is interview question bank. This is enough. Now come back to our discussion. Right. Sai, from that Sai, you just take care about that. Before sending the book to students, just send me to me. I will just verify and then you can send to the students. And Visual Studio 2012 and 2013 contain ASP.NET MVC 4.0 by default. The note is your Visual Studio 2012 and 2013 contain ASP.NET MVC 4.0 by default. If you want to develop ASP.NET MVC 4.0 application with Visual Studio 2010, let us assume you have Visual Studio 2010. You want to use Visual Studio MVC 4.0. We have to install following additional packages. That is Visual Studio 2010 Service Pack 1, ASP.NET MVC 4.0. That is only applicable for who are having Visual Studio 2010. As per my knowledge, I hope there are no guys are using Visual Studio 2010 because which is older one. If you are using, follow that instruction. Again, I am repeating the statement. If you are using Visual Studio 2012, 13, MVC 4.0 by default will come. And for 15 people, you will get automatically 6.0. If you are using 2010, you can install Visual MVC 4.0 by installing two. Number one, 2010 Service Pack 1, ASP.NET MVC 4.0. And why I am not asking you to directly work in MVC 6.0? Whenever, see, latest versions will come like anything, but don't expect that the companies will migrate from to the latest versions that much speed how the Microsoft is releasing the versions. So when you go for projects in companies, there is a scope that present you may work from MVC 4.0 to MVC 6.0. If we are install Visual Studio 2015, by default your ASP.NET MVC 6.0 will come. This is the important note too, guys. Now we are going to discuss about ASP.NET MVC features. What are the MVC ASP.NET MVC features? So many people will have a curiosity that why ASP.NET MVC, why not ASP.NET? Why we should go for ASP.NET MVC? Already we have a concept called ASP.NET. At the time of attending interviews also, this question is getting you guys from interviews. The question is why we should go for ASP.NET MVC rather than ASP.NET Web Forms. For that, here I am giving you the ASP.NET MVC important features which you can call it as advantages of ASP.NET MVC. Here also the question I raised again. The question is raised the question because always you should not only prepare answer, try to frame a question in different ways because suddenly understanding the question at the time of interview is there is a single answer for multiple questions. For example, answer is Rahul Gandhi. Can you tell me the questions? There is a single answer for multiple questions. Answer is Rahul Gandhi. Can you tell me the questions? Who is the son of Sonia Gandhi? Yes or no? Who is the working president of Congress? Rahul Gandhi. Like that, multiple questions. Now, what are the advantages of ASP.NET MVC and why do we use ASP.NET MVC MVC instead of ASP.NET Web Forms? Simple question. Means the question is, why not ASP.NET Web Forms? Why ASP.NET MVC? So you can call, these are all the advantages of ASP.NET MVC. This is the first question, and this is the second question. The third question is, list out features of ASP.NET MVC. List out features of ASP.NET MVC. Right. Let me give you the features here. Right. The features are, because of below 10 advantages, we will go for ASP.NET MVC rather than ASP.NET Web Forms. It is one of the most important question for you guys at the time of attending interview. And here there are 10 points I covered approximately. These 10 points will take to understand ASP.NET MVC in some level. As a beginner, some points you cannot understand because which is related to implementation part. We didn't start the development of ASP.NET MVC. Due to that reason, I can say few points you can understand very easily. Few points you may confuse also, which is connected to the programming part. A good teacher will give the clarity to the student where he may get confused. Otherwise, the student will feel that in this line I have confused, only I am confused, remaining all understood. My understanding level is very less. A good teacher will always instruct to the student that, brother, in this line you cannot understand in this level. This line is connected to the next future sessions. Due to that reason, only that line heading you can remember and understand some level. Connectivity will be there. Because when you are watching a movie also, you can observe in some scenes in the beginning we can't understand, which will be connected to either flashback or which will be connected to either later scenes. So that we will call generally as suspense in the movies. So similarly here I don't want to create any suspense, but some connectivity concepts we can't understand will be getting clear by end of the sessions. So now we are talking about total ASP.NET MVC features. Due to that reason, there is a chance for you guys. Now in this, the first feature or first advantage of ASP.NET MVC is separation of code. First is separation of code. And you guys can guess about this. Anybody? You can guess. You can guess. Whenever we are one movie is coming, by seeing the teaser, we can guess the some characters, some story. By seeing the wall poster, we can guess some scene. By seeing the wall poster, we can guess some script of the movie. Similarly, you can also some estimate or guess by seeing the headings. Number one is separation of code. Anybody can guess what do you mean by separation of code in ASP.NET MVC?
Separation of code between model view controller.
Very good. Because here application development will be separating into three parts. So UI part will be in the view, and ADO.NET data access logic will be in the model, and execution or controlling logic will be in the controller. That is called separation of code. Am I right, Varun?
Yes.
Next, loosely coupled or less dependency. Loosely coupled or less dependency. Anybody can guess about this? We'll discuss. Brother, it is a big discussion. Here, every advantage is I made it as a one question. What is separation of code? What is loosely coupled? Okay, what every 10 questions I made it. Just I'm asking you. I'm giving a chance to you people to guess, right? Loosely coupled or less dependence. Guess. Anybody can guess whether it is right or wrong. You can guess, man. Right. Means maybe one model, one part is not depending on other parts. Means model modification will not be reflected on controller. View modification will not be reflected on controller, like that, not depending one part to another part. Next, parallel development. Anybody can guess about parallel development?
Maybe UI people can work on UI part and model people can work on
Yes,
model or control.
are working together. Parallelly, three teams will work on three parts. One UI team is working on view. Data access logic people are working on model. And execution logic team is working on controller. That is called parallelly development. Next, easy to perform unit testing, because every part can be testing separately. TDD support, that is TDD support we have to discuss. Not, you cannot understand now. It is some complicated point. Clear and clean URLs. Clear and clean URLs means that is also we have to discuss. And improved performance, because of MVC your application performance will improve. Next, more controlling on HTML design. More controlling on HTML design. You can observe one important point in ASP.NET. In ASP.NET, your UI code will be in UI. You will have more server side code, but here you will have more client side code. And next, added new concepts. Already ASP.NET concepts are here also carrying. Some new concepts are adding. What are they? We have to understand. Easy to learn, easy to implement. Can you guess why easy to learn and easy to implement ASP.NET MVC? The point here it is ASP.NET developers can understand ASP.NET MVC very easily. What is the reason? What is the reason? Because most of the ASP.NET features will be same in ASP.NET MVC. Another one is, already if you are a ASP.NET developer, you are having good knowledge in C#.NET. Same C#.NET logic you will use. Means ASP.NET people can use ASP.NET MVC easily, because same C#, same ASP.NET concepts and same ADO.NET concepts. That's why easy to learn and easy to implement. There are 10 features or 10 advantages in ASP.NET MVC. Now, guys, can you tell me, list out 10 points? These 10 points remembering is only for the sake of interviews. Okay, there is no rule that why you should remember. Only sake of interviews, right? So how to remember these 10 points, sir? Whenever you have couple of points divided into two parts. 5 points, 5 points. First concentrate 5 points, second concentrate 5 points. What are the first 5 points? Separation of code, loosely coupled, parallel development, easy to perform unit testing, TDD support. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anybody? Try.
Separation of code.
Wait, I'll
coupled.
tell you the number. Madam, I'll tell you the number. You tell me the point. Remaining people can type in chat, but most of the people are sleeping because early morning now. That's the reason. Come on. Number 1. You are not sleeping. Only evidence for me is responding your answers through chat. 1. Tell me. No, one person is telling in voice now. Why? One person can tell voice. Anyone. Number 1. Separation of
Code.
two.
Loosely coupled.
Loosely coupled. Boys are not responding in every time in online. I observed that female domination is more. I don't know why. Every time. Huh? Two.
Lo- Loosely
Loosely.
coupled.
Three.
Parallel development.
Parallel development.
Parallel development. Four.
Easy
Easy to
unit.
perform unit testing.
Easy to perform unit testing. Five.
Testing. TDT support.
TDD support.
Support.
TDD. What is TDD? I'll explain. Don't worry. Total 5
Okay.
points. Yes. Any other person can repeat 5 points without seeing any talk. Without seeing. One.
Separation of codes.
Same person, not same person. Annapurna, Satya, both are talking like anything. Okay, excellent. No doubt. But what about others? Varun can respond. Venkat can respond. Srinivas can respond. Pandu can respond. Pandu coming, going. I think same Pandu, old student from US. Hidaya can respond. Praveen can respond. Kranti can respond. Anil can respond. Come on. Right, guys. Right. Yes. Kranti, can you?
Yes.
I
First
think
point is
noise is there. No. Mute yourself. Next.
okay.
Mute. Kranti, mute immediately. Don't disturb the session. Right. Anybody else? Come on. Don't feel that it is online session. Whether I will teach online or classroom, it will have a lot of interaction. Don't worry. I'll not sleep. I'll I'll not allow you to sleep. Don't worry. Once coding is started, you are very with my assignment. Number one.
Separation of code.
Number two.
Loosely coupled.
Number three.
Parallel development.
Number four.
Easy to perform unit testing.
Number five.
TTD support.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Varun, are you from where?
Same, yeah. Hyderabad means currently in.
You are my .NET student, huh?
No, sir. Means I'm started working, learning parallel.
You're working already. You learned .NET somewhere.
Yeah, means I attended half of the course with Kannababu sir.
Okay. Learn full course, huh? That will be helpful for you.
Yeah.
Right. Now, guys, Anil, you approach. Right, Sai. I think it seems Anil is not getting voice. Sai, you take care about Anil immediately. Right. Yeah. Okay, guys. Next, coming to remaining 5 advantages. Sai, you just call to Anil and take care about him. Anil is left from the session. It seems so. He's not getting voice. You ask him to rejoin. Always, whenever you have voice problem or any problem, generally what will happen? You have to log off and log in. That will be resolve your issues generally. Okay, right. Come back to our discussion about the remaining 5 advantages are number one, sixth one, clear URLs and improved performance and more controlling on HTML and added new concepts. And 10th one is easy to learn and easy to implement. There are the 5 important features. Number one, sixth one, clear URLs. 7, improved performance. 8, more controlling on HTML. 9, added new concepts. 10, easy to learn and easy to implement. Okay, now you all the guys can respond by seeing the book. Sixth feature is what? 6, clear.
Clear.
7, improved performance. 8, more controlling on HTML. 9, added new concepts. 10, easy to learn and easy to implement. Right. Again, I'm asking you guys. 6, clear? All of you guys, ladies, start talking. Okay. It's appreciation, madam. You people are responding very well, and it's indirectly motivating the guys to speak. Nothing else. Sixth one, clear URLs. Seventh, improve performance. Eighth is what? More controlling on HTML. Ninth is added new concepts. 10th is easy to learn, easy to implement. Anybody can respond 6 to 10. Anybody?
Clear
Immediately
URL.
yes, I am responding. I'll respond. Come on. 6,
Clear URL.
7,
Improved performance.
8,
More controlling on HTML.
9,
Added new concepts.
10.
Easy to learn and easy to implement.
Okay, very good. Now you guys do one thing. Anyone can tell 10 points together. 1 to 10. 1 to 10. 1,
Separation of code.
2,
Loosely coupled.
3,
Parallel development.
4,
Easy to perform unit testing.
5,
TDD support.
6,
Clear URL.
7,
Improved performance.
8,
More controlling on HTML.
9,
Added new concept.
10.
Easy to learn and easy to implement.
Right. Okay. Now you all the people take pen and paper. Take pen and paper, guys, all of you. Now take the question. Write the advantages of ASP.NET MVC. Write the advantages of ASP.NET MVC. Come on. On paper, you have to write the 10 points one by one. Come on. Writing all of you.
Yes, sir.
Right. Please write. 1, 2, 3, like that.
Completed, sir.
Right, very good. Just give the score out of 10. Anybody got 10? 10 by 10? Just chart your score. Just message your score or you tell in voice. 10 out of 10? How many?
I got the 10 of 10, sir.
You write 10, right. Next. Anybody? 9. Reddy. 10. Reddy G. Reddaya, maybe. Right. Kranti 10. Very good. Okay, fine. So this is just a self-testing, guys. Nothing else. Okay. Tomorrow, we will discuss about all the advantages one by one with clear. you can understand that all these 10 are 10 interview questions. People will ask you how you can say that ASP.NET MVC is a separation of code. People will ask you a question, what is loosely coupled in ASP.NET MVC? People will ask a question, what is parallel development in ASP.NET MVC? And what is TTD support in ASP.NET MVC? Okay, so this we are going to see tomorrow. And after advantages, slowly we will enter into programming environment of ASP.NET MVC. Tomorrow you will understand all the advantages. We'll try to finish, and day after tomorrow we are entering into development environment, ASP.NET MVC application development environment. ASP.NET MVC application development environment means we'll try to create ASP.NET MVC application. And whenever you are creating ASP.NET MVC application by using Visual Studio.NET, what are the templates available? And you can see this. Just observe this. I'm going to show you. New project. Now you're going to create ASP.NET MVC application. New project. Here web. When you select web, here you have to select MVC 4 web application, because here you have selected .NET Framework 4, and you just click OK button. Okay. When you click OK, right. So it's showing templates. Empty, basic, internet application, intranet application, mobile application, web API, single page application. These are all the templates we are going to discuss day after tomorrow. What do you mean by empty? What do you mean by basic? What do you mean by internet application? What do you mean by intranet application? So that we will discuss day after tomorrow.